Welcome to my latest project. I'm going to call this one Kopy's Fish Camp. I'm making this sign for a customer friend of mine I went to school with. Just got him a new fish camp and he's wanting a sign to put inside the cabin. So if you'll stick around, I'll show you how we're going to do this one all on the laser. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. We're set up in the laser. I have drawn the X's in the center to mark the center of the board. It's all laid out. I'll show you the framing of it. Hang on, I hit the wrong button. All right, now we're going to show you the framing of it. You can see this is going to be a full size drawing that we're going to be working with. So we're going to go ahead and close the door. We're going to turn off the diode, and I'm going to go ahead and wipe off the screen right quick. Didn't realize I had that much dirt on it. And we'll turn off the diode, we'll press start, and here we go. I am going to go ahead and engrave all the way through the tape. I want to try to cut down on any overspray. Or not overspray, but flashing. It makes it easier for cleanup and for painting purposes. So we're going to let this run. This will be probably about a 25 to 30 minute total run time for it. And then, to be honest with you, I will probably run this thing 2 or 3 times to get me a good deep carving on it. So stick around. I'll put some music on for you and speed things up. Well, all right, this is what it looked like after I removed all the masking tape and had sprayed the black marsh ink in there. I don't use black paint. I use a marsh ink. Marsh is a brand name, and the ink was designed for marking packing boxes and crates and things like that. It comes in a lot of different colors, but I like the black the best. So anyway, what I'm going to do now is take my random orbital sander, and we're going to sand off the board and kind of clean up a little bit. There is a little bit of an overspray and stuff that I want to get off of it, sand it up. Since I had pre-sanded it, I'm just going to go right back in with 220 grit. So here we go. Oh, hang on, let me get the air and we'll blow this thing off right quick. Alright, we'll stand this up and blow it off. All right, there it is. I'm real satisfied. I've got a little high spot right here. I'm going to touch up and clean that up a little bit. But other than that, I'm real happy with the way this one has turned out. So when I come back in the next segment, I will be cutting the board to the finished lengths. I'll cut some off on the edges over here, and then I will use my router and I'll put a decorative routing edge all the way around. So hang on, I'll be right back. We're gonna cut this sign down to the proper length. You can see I've got a line drawn here and I've got another one drawn right here. And I'm gonna use my crosscut sled on my table saw, and I will cut those lines right straight across. So if you'll hang on, we'll get set up. And I've got to raise my blade. And we'll get that to the right height right there. All right, so now we'll get it lined back up. And we are ready to go. Hold your ears. There we have it, cut to the length. So the next thing I'll do is I'll get set up and I'll do a decorative edge all the way around it, and then we'll get into finishing it. So be right back. Right, first thing I want to point out is I've got to change the router bits in my router, and you have to do it safely. So my router is completely unplugged and will stay that way while I'm working to remove that router bit. So get that locked down. We'll get this one swapped out right quick. You cannot take an opportunity to be safe. You have to do it yourself. It's got to be something that you want to do. You got to work safely. So got that one in. We'll put that other bit away. The router bits I use are not typically found in a box store. They're special cuts. However, the shaping bit right here is one that's available at a big box store. So this is called a Roman OG bit, and it's going to have a pretty unique shape design to it. And I want to bring it up here for y'all to get a look at it so you can see the shape of that carbide tool, kind of rounded at the top and then on the outside and curves to an inside, and then has a little square shoulder. So that's going to cut in the opposite, in this direction here on top. So it's going to leave that little shape in the profile all the way around. So what I want to do, let me scoot over just a little bit here. And when you're working with boards in a router, you want to start on your end grain because there is a possibility for some chip out. So I always start with an end grain first, and then I'll do an edge grain, an end grain, and then the edge grain, finish it back up. What happens if you have a little chip out, it's going to occur on this back corner over here, and that will allow you, typically it's not going to be real big, but that will allow you to remove that chip out when you start the next slide. So hang on, it's going to get a little loud. Well, okay, before we can do anything else, we've got to plug back in. So hang on. All right, so now we are plugged in. So here we go. All right, so now we're through with it. We'll unplug the router. It's hard to believe a little bitty tool like that can create that big a mess, but it does. Let me blow this off right quick. So, all right, let me get this around where you can kind of see the little decorative edge that it puts on it all the way around. So that kind of makes it a really attractive looking board. So I've still got to do some sanding obviously on the edges and stuff. So hang on, when I come right back, we will be sanding and getting ready to clear coat. All right, we're gonna go right back with the 220 again. All right, that was a real quick one. So now we're going to come back in. This hand sander, it also has 220 on it. And all I want to do is just lightly break over that sharp edge on the side. All right. And then got a little bit of, on the edge grain you're always going to have a little roughness, so come in there and we'll just touch it up by hand. Alright, a little spot right there. For those of you who don't know me, I'm one of the weird and wacky woodworkers out there in the world. I love to sand. I have no problem whatsoever sanding. I love it. It's to me, it's a final finished product that you get to put on your work. Kind of like a final touch. And I love it. I don't have any problems at all with sanding. Sanding was taught to me when I was a young kid in junior high. My best friend's dad had a garage and body shop, and he had a man who did a lot of sanding prior to painting on the vehicles. He did with the painting as well, but he did a lot of the prep work after the body man had finished. And he pointed out to me that it didn't matter how much quality work the body men did to replace the panels or whatever on the car and get everything lined up. That car wasn't painted right. As far as the customer was concerned, that was the worst job that had ever been done. So he took a lot of pride in his sanding jobs before he actually did the painting. And that's a lesson that never left my mind. So I use Mr. Gonzalo Lopez's thoughts and teachings in all of my work. I love to sand because I get to finish my projects. So, all right. I am happy with all this all the way around. And a little bit right there. Let me finish that one up. Like I said, you get the opportunity to finish them. So I like that one. So I'm going to put that sanding disc back on the back side over here, and then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to break the sharp edges like that. Just want to break the edges. All right, let's blow this off one more time. All right, and then I've got a few little spots that I want to blend in a little better. Believe it or not, we just take a marks lot and we just touch them right up. And that's all we have to do. I am satisfied with the way this one has turned out. Yeah, most of those are just loose little pieces. I'll do a better job blowing them off. So anyway, so our next step will be clear coating. So we'll be back outside for that again. So we'll be right back. All right. Well, as y'all can see, I didn't video it, but I did put my logo in the back corner of it. And so now this is going to be an interior sign, so I don't need to put a oil-based finish on it. So this Rust-Oleum 2X clear satin is going to be a great finish for this sign. So I always start with the back of my signs first. So here we go. All right, so now we'll flip the sign over, and man, that just makes that grain pop. So we'll flip it over, and we'll get started on it here. I need to move upwind. Well, the wind is shifting, so I got to move a little more. Beauty of having this Lazy Susan to move my boards. All right, so now we'll do the edging. Okay. All right. Make sure everything's covered. Looks like it is. Tell you what, let's come from the opposite side. That way we get all the edges covered. All right. So now we're going to let that sit for about a half hour or so and let it dry. So be right back. Next coat is going on. So here we go. I'll probably end up putting about 4 coats on this on both sides all the way around. All right, let me flip it over. We started that side last time. Let's go from this side. All right, and we'll come back from this side again. Just make sure that all the sides is caught. All the edges get their coating on them. All right. All right, next coat is going on. So here we go. I'll probably end up putting about 4 coats on this on both sides all the way around. All right, let me flip it over. We started that side last time. Let's go from this side. Alright, and we'll come back from this side again. Just make sure that all the sides is caught. All the edges get their coating on them. Alright. Alright. I'm going to, off camera, go ahead and put maybe 2 more coats on this. It'll be a lot glossier when it's all said and done. But I want to take this opportunity to go ahead and wrap up the video. And I want to thank everyone for following me along the way. And if you would, please like, subscribe, and share my channel with your family and friends. I'd greatly appreciate it. And lastly, hug all your family and friends. Let them know you love them. And God bless.